Here we have Netflix Megatron. Before we take a look at them, let's take a look at all of the accessories. So let me just move the camera a tad bit down so we can take a look at all the accessories. So first up, here we have the sword, which is really, really cool. Nice sculpting, the exact same sculpting that came with the sword that was with Siege Megatron, which I will bring out in just a second for a comparison. There is some new paint apps on it. As you can see, there's some gunmetal gray there to show wear. We do have some nice blue there for the Siege Megatron. I'm pretty sure the paint apps there were red instead of blue, of course, but I think that looks really, really cool. Very, very nice sword. For the next accessory, we have the Fusion Cannon, which is, of course, again, the same sculpt as the Siege Cannon, just some new paint apps for some gunmetal gray here, revealing that the black paint has worn off over time from battle and war, of course, but that looks really, really cool. The next few accessories, we have two blaster pieces, and we have the Allspark. Of course, you can count the Allspark as a blaster piece if you want to. Some might not, but there they are. I think they look really cool. So these two came with Battle Masters before. This one came, of course, I think with Double Crosser. This one came with Slitherfang. Of course, they were different colors. I think they were both a bright orange or dark red somewhere like that. For the Allspark, this did come with a previous Target exclusive, the Worlds Collide 4-pack, which I did review. It did come in that pack, but what's very interesting in the Target exclusive, which is this one, it is a darker color, and for the Netflix one, it is a brighter color. So here's my theory why they did two different colors. I think, just spoiler warning, if you've not seen the Kingdom Netflix show, just skip ahead like 10 seconds, maybe even less, if you don't want to hear this, because I will talk about the show. If you haven't seen it, again, spoiler warning. So, in the show, of course, if you watched it, the Allspark is dying because it is away from Cybertron. So I think that's why they gave the darker color, because that is the dying Allspark, and the brighter one is when it is more full of life, and it is, you know, healthy and alive and all that sort of stuff. So that could be why. That could be completely wrong. I'm not entirely sure, but still, very, very cool accessory. So how these incorporate into the Netflix Megatron. So of course these are blaster pieces, so there is posts all over him where you can just get the little cavity there and just put the post inside there, and it can go on him like that, so it can look like he's being shot by Optimus Prime or any other Autobot. The same actually for this Allspark. There is a little cavity right there, as you can see, and if you just get a post, it will put right into place. Does that make sense why the Allspark can store on his leg or arm? I don't really think that makes any sense, but I think they did that because they know you really can't have any Warfare Cybertron character hold the Allspark, because no one really has any articulated hands for him to hold it. So you could balance it on his hands, but of course that would be kind of annoying and hard. You can do the same for the Target exclusive Allspark as well, of course. That wouldn't come with this, but still it is an option. So very, very cool. So let me just take these two accessories off. I will take a look at the chain matrix in just a second, but of course you can take the gun here and port it like that, which is very, very cool. The classic G1 cannon position. Of course, you can have him put it on either arm, does not matter. You can have him hold it in his hand. I don't really think that makes the most sense. It is an option, but most people will store it on the side of his arm. Of course, he does come with his really, really cool battle sword, which there is several ways you can have him store this. There is a port on the side of his arm where he can plug it in, which I actually do quite like this position for the sword. I think it looks pretty cool. Since there have been several molds of this, several versions of this mold of Megatron, you can have, you know, one having it hold in his hand, or like this, or maybe stored on his back, so that is kind of a nice option that you can put the sword and the cannon or gun in several different ways. So you can also have him store it on his back, so just move the Megatron to the back. There is two ports there, and you can just get the sword stored on his back, just like that, which I think looks quite cool. But of course, this is Megatron. He's most of the time in battle, so if you just move him to the front here and get his hand, put that sword in there, and there you go. That is the full battle Megatron, of course. You gotta have his sword in his hand, which I think looks really, really cool. Of course, he does have his Matrix chain on his chest, which I will take a look at in just a second. But very, very cool. Let's take a look at a quick comparison. So here is Netflix Megatron with Siege Megatron, the original mold of many molds that there have been. There's been Selects versions, there's been, of course, the Earthrise Megatron, tons of versions of this mold that are all quite good. But here they are. As you can see, they are quite similar. Really, the accessories are the same, just new paint apps. That's pretty much it. As you can see, there's really red on the sword there. The cannon is the exact same sculpt, just more clean. There is still some brushwork and damage on the Siege Megatron. There's just a lot more paint apps, a lot more defined details, like the head sculpt on the Netflix Megatron that's not really seen on the Siege one, which is quite cool to have two different versions. So there we go. But yes, really the exact same mold and sculpt. Both the tank treads are on the back. The leg detailing is the exact same, just new paint apps, and that's pretty much it. Tighter joints definitely for the Netflix one, which is good. But there is still some loose areas, which I will point out in a second. But that's a pretty cool comparison there. We do have another comparison with his pack mate, Skelevor. So this Skelevor figure did come in this pack, which I will review quite soon, so do make sure you check out that review whenever it is posted. So this figure can attach to Megatron if you just, of course, break him into all the pieces like a fossilizer always does. I will show that in his review, so make sure you check that out. So quite cool. So let's take a look at that chain matrix. So let me just move him to the front, and let me just take the sword out and the cannon out, so we can take a look at all the details when we're done with taking a look at the chain. So here's the matrix, and I think it looks really cool. Nice gray for the little chain pieces, silver for the handle, some blue for the crystal, and some orange for the little ball or globe piece, which I think looks really cool. So how this attaches to Megatron, if you just unlatch this little piece here, and of course over on this side here, sometimes it can be a little tight, and just unlatch all that. So how this is connected is there's these little gaps on the top and on the sides on the bottom there, and there's these little hooks that just attach right into place, and that is how it stays in place on his chest, which is pretty cool engineering, but I do kind of wish it was maybe a little bit more smooth of a connection, because sometimes you have to fiddle with it a lot to get it on there, but it's not too bad. After a while, you will get used to it, and you can easily put it on there. But still, a quite cool accessory. Let's take a look at the rest of the details of Netflix Megatron, and then we'll get into transformation and articulation and all that stuff. So detail-wise, again, just so many paint apps. Love the silver, love the battle damage for the chest. Nice Decepticon symbol we have there. Really nice blue dots there, very classic for the chest. Some yellow there, some red on the sides, some more gray. Some brushwork on the crotch with the main color being black. We have some gray there, some black. Some more black on the treads, some more silver and gray for the feet. Some red for the arms, some black for the hands. We do have some darker gray on the back of the arms. We do have the nice little backpack there. Pretty, compact, not too bad of a backpack. And the legs, there's not much gaps really. We do have the wheels for the tank mode that are there. But overall, a very cool, well-detailed figure. So let's take a look at the articulation. Articulation-wise, let's get right into it. So for the head, it can move that far down, it can move that far up. There is a very loose panel there, as you can see. For the arm, it can rotate all the way around. It can move out, it can move in. There's a swivel, an elbow bend, and of course the hand can move in, but that is a part of transformation. So if you want to count that, you can. The head can really look left to right, not very much. It is kind of limited by these pieces there, but not too bad. Of course, same for the other arm. Not really any articulation on the back. For the waist, if you move this little back piece, it can move all the way around. For the legs, if we just kind of clean everything up and get everything out of the way, it can do the full splits. There is a swivel, a knee bend, an ankle tilt to a very good degree. And I do like how the feet lock into place. If you know what I'm talking about, for the previous molds of Siege and Megatron, the feet have always, or the ankles have always been very, very loose, especially on Siege Megatron. Again, a swivel, it can kick back, of course. If you want to, you can move that little back piece there. And of course, you can kick forward. And that's pretty much it for articulation. So let me just straighten everything up. And then let's get into transformation. So first off, what you're going to do is go to the feet. Just flip in the heel spurs here, like that. Just collapse them into place. Now we can go to the hands. Just bring in the hands like that. Then we can go over here to the shoulder, flip these little panels up like that. Unfortunately, they are quite loose, so I do apologize if they go out of place. I might have to correct that and put them back into place, but hopefully they will not slide it back down again. But now what we can do is just go to this back tread section here and just bring this whole assembly forward like that. Now what we're going to want to do is just put that down. I'm just going to lower the camera just a tad bit. You can rotate at the waist like that. And then what you're going to want to do is bring the hands here. You can untab the shoulder section from that chest section. As you can see, there is a slot inside there. There is a tab right there. That will just untab, and we can bring these sections back. And then you can get the fusion cannon. Just plug that into place. Tab that right in. And now what we can do is go to this front section here. And as you can see, there's this big hollow section there, and you're just going to want to get all of this stuff, and we're just going to slide that right into place. So what we're going to want to do is just fold this out, and there is a slot there and a slot there, and there is tabs on this piece, and that will just slide right into place. So sometimes this can be a little bit difficult, but there we go. And again, we're just going to fill that space with the tank treads. So just hinge that up and just fold that into place, just like that. So there you go. And again, yeah, these little pieces are kind of loose, so unfortunately, can't really do much about that. But there you go. Just collapse all that stuff into place. There we go. And now for the legs, it's quite simple. We're just going to go back here, bring these panels out just like that, and then you can use this hinge here, hinge it to the side, do the same thing with the other leg, hinge it to the side, like that. There we go. And then you can hinge it forward, but you're going to want to make sure that it lands completely flush like that, or you won't be able to put that panel over. So just do the same thing on the other side. Hinge it forward, just like that. Bring that panel down, and as you can see, there is a tab right there and a slot on that panel. That will just tab nice and secure into place. Do the same thing on the other leg. Tab that right into place. And then for the final touches, let me just kind of neaten everything up. Unfortunately, the tank might be kind of wobbly a little bit because this table is not fully steady and stable. And now what we're going to want to do is just bring this whole assembly with the sword here through. It's a little tight. And now we can, as you can see, there is a gap that will just slide right through. As you can see, there is a peg, a port, and that will just peg into place. So there we go. There is the Netflix Megatron in his tank mode. We have the tank mode, and I think it looks really, really cool. Let's take a look at the details. So we have some nice blue for the tank, some black and silver for the barrel. We have some more black on top. We have some nice red and silver here and there, some dark gray. We have some nice tread detailing. We do have the wheels there on the front and back. Looks really good. Lots of paneling and, little compartments there, just use your imagination of storage and stuff like that. Looks really, really cool. Nice some yellow for the front little lights there. Looks quite cool. Some more silver and black on the back. We do have the feet just kind of hanging out there, but it's not too bad. They do just bend there at that joint, so I wouldn't say it looks too bad in my opinion, but looks quite nice. Overall, a very cool looking tank. So overall, very cool. So storage wise for the accessories, you are supposed to be able to put the matrix chain on there, but how it's supposed to work really is there is supposed to be these little gaps here, and you can use the hooks, of course, and then I think you're maybe supposed to hinge it here and there. But it just doesn't really work. I've tried several times, and I have not been able to get it to work, but of course for a display piece, you can really just kind of, maybe plop it on top, something like that, if you wanted to really just take pictures with it, or on a shelf, that will look great. But if you really want it to stay, it won't stay, of course. I've tried a lot for this video and for display purposes, and I have not been able to get it. Let me know if you have and how you actually did it. I've tried a lot of times. Otherwise, storage, you can use those ports and pegs and put the, all spark and the blaster pieces here and there. You can put a blaster piece in the barrel, and that's pretty much it. It can roll quite well. Of course, this is a cloth surface, so again, won't roll most amazing on this surface, but a very cool looking tank. Let me get one quick comparison, and then we'll be done with the video. So here we have both Siege Megatron and Netflix Megatron in their tank modes, and I think they do look really cool. As you can see, they are very similar. Really, it's just down to some paint apps. He has more silver and red at the barrel. He has more blue and darker colors at the barrel. Lots more silver on the overall figure. Lots of dark colors. But overall, the sculpt is the exact same. Of course, he does come with Skeletor in that pack and a lot more brand new, really cool accessories. I do like Siege Megatron. It's a really cool figure, but there is quite a few loose joints, like the back ankles here, as you can see back here, quite loose ankles, and definitely Netflix Megatron did fix that. He has nice locked in place ankles. I know a lot of people do not like how the feet just stick out like that, but it is a tank, so it can be challenging at times. It's a Cybertronian tank, not just a classic, military, Earth tank. That would be a lot more easy to do. So there is some challenges with a figure like this. Articulation-wise, for these tanks, it's the exact same. Both turrets can rotate all the way around, of course. Quite nice articulation. Tighter probably on this one, which could be a bad thing or a good thing, of course, because a nice, easy, rotatable tank is nice, of course, but yeah, this one rotates. You just have to have a good grip on it, of course, but still very cool tanks. I would like maybe a Decepticon symbol on the front tread there, and maybe on the other side. Same for this one. It's kind of odd they didn't put it there, but still very cool tanks. Let's get into some final thoughts. For this Netflix Megatron overall in the robot mode, I think it's a really good robot mode. Love the accessories. The Matrix chain is amazing. Definitely my favorite accessory. They could have easily just taken the Matrix chain that came with Galvatron and just slapped it with this one, but they did a brand new sculpt. It attaches pretty well. I think it could just be a little bit smoother. Attaching in the tank mode, that's a different story. I've not actually been able to securely get it on there once. You can just kind of slap it on there, and just have it for display, but again, if you want it secure and not to fall off, that is a different story. Details on Megatron, amazing details. Love the battle damage and brushwork. Again, accessories are great. Articulation is great. Definitely tighter joints, especially in the ankles and the feet. The arms as well. For transformation-wise, pretty smooth. We have all done it several times, several different versions of this mold. G2 Megatron, Combat Megatron, Earthrise Megatron, pretty much all the same transformation, just slightly few different decos and slight new steps here and there. Like Earthrise Megatron, there's a few new steps and new added pieces, but overall pretty much the concept is the same. The tank is very good. Love the new paint apps, like the blue, like the brushwork here and there, nice silver. I do just wish maybe there was a Decepticon symbol here and there, maybe on the front tread, or maybe on the side near the barrel somewhere. That'd be kind of nice, but not a big complaint. Overall, a very good figure. Stay tuned for the Skeletor review, and I think that's it. So I'll see you